Nowadays, most of us in the developed world are happy to buy their food in a store or supermarket. Only a minority grows their own food, and foraging in the wild is not done, apart from picking the occasional strawberry or catching the odd fish. That we are able to do this is a result of the Neolithic Agricultural Revolutions. They have left quite a mark on what we eat today. Hello and welcome to this 11th episode of Edo Ego Sum, I Am What I Eat. In this last episode of our mini-series about the Neolithic Agricultural Revolutions, we have a look at its impact on what we eat today. Quite a profound one, as you will see. Let's start with the most important products the revolution gave us. Plants with a high starch content, like wheat, rice, maize, or potatoes. The starchy plant with the biggest global production is maize, or corn as it is known in America. It has its origin in southern Mexico and has been domesticated more than 9,000 years ago. Even if it doesn't look like it to most people, it is a grass. Of the more than 1 billion tons produced worldwide, only about a fifth is for direct human consumption. The rest goes into animal fodder or fuel. With a 33% market share, the US is the biggest producer. Next is wheat, as we have seen, a grass originally from the Middle East. That is a further development of einkorn, which has been domesticated more than 12,000 years ago. 2/3 of the global harvest of 750 million tons is used for direct human consumption. The rest is for animal fodder. With 20%, the EU is the top global wheat producer. Next on the list is rice, another grass. It has a global production volume of about 500 million tons, so about a third less than wheat and about half that of maize. Its domestication originated in China more than 10,000 years ago, and it is still the most important food crop in Asia, with unsurprisingly China, India and Indonesia as the biggest producers. Unsurprisingly, these countries are also the ones with the biggest populations in Asia. Then there are potatoes, a tuber that has been domesticated in the Andes Mountains of Peru and Chile about 8,000 years ago. Many people love them nowadays, fried as either French fries or potato chips. Potatoes have a production volume of about 400 million tons, so about a fifth less than rice and about half that of wheat. The biggest producer today is neither one of these South American countries, nor a European one, nor the biggest promoter of French fries and the home of McDonald's, the USA, but, surprise, surprise, China with 28% of the total. The fifth most produced plant with a starchy content is another tuber that goes under several names like cassava, manioc or yucca, and like potatoes has its origins in South America. It has been domesticated at about the same time as potatoes, but is better suited to a tropical climate. That's why the biggest producers are all tropical countries such as Nigeria, Thailand or Brazil. These 5 plants or plant groups are humanity's most important food suppliers. Not only because of the high production volumes, but also because starch, when properly prepared as shown in the last video, provides a lot of energy. All can trace their roots back to one of the Neolithic agricultural revolutions from prehistory. Without them, it would never be possible to feed about 8 billion people, roughly what we will have in a few years. However, they are not the food item with the biggest global production volume. This honor goes to another grass, or tuber, as both are used to extract it. Sugar, with a production volume of more than 2 billion tons. While the tuber is a relatively new invention and is responsible for about 15% of the total, the grass, sugarcane, can trace its origins back to one of the Neolithic Agricultural Revolutions too, this time in New Guinea about 8,000 years ago. compared to the giant production volumes of these starchy or sugary cereals or root plants. The production volume of fruit and vegetables is rather modest, with only bananas, tomatoes and watermelons exceeding 100 million tons. They too are a product of these agricultural revolutions, although they can't trace their origins that far back. It gets interesting when you start to look at where our protein intake comes from. By far the biggest, with a global production volume of more than 800 million tons, so more than wheat, is milk. Mainly cow's milk, but also buffalo, sheep, goat or camel milk. Of course, not all of this is drunk as milk, but is included in products as diverse as cheese, yogurt or, yes, milk chocolate. Milk production too is a product of one of the agricultural revolutions, this time from the Middle East that started at least 8,000 years ago. The second highest production volume with more than 300 million tons annually is actually a plant, soybeans. Domesticated in China about 9,000 years ago in its agricultural revolution, it is now mostly produced in the Americas, north and south. Most of it is used as animal fodder. Our third biggest source of protein, fish, with a global harvest of more than 170 million tons, is actually an outlier, since more than 50% of it is still caught in the wild. With all the problems this entails, but more about that in a later video when we talk about the future, whether the oceans can be an answer to square our food needs with our land resources. Compared to all that, meat production volumes are relatively modest, with about 100 million tons for chicken, pork or beef. They better stay that way as their production gobbles up a lot of resources, among them land. Some of these products have other uses for humanity. A big part of Brazil's sugar harvest is converted into ethanol and to be used as biofuel, whereas about 70% of both the soybean and maize production goes into animal feed. But this compilation does show how big the impact of the Neolithic Agricultural Revolutions are on our daily shopping. Now, since mammoths are extinct and there are not nearly enough reindeer around to feed everyone. Most of the products we eat can either trace their origins direct to one of them or have been invented in an area where one of them has spread. The biggest impact of the agricultural revolutions has, however, not been that we have switched from eating naturally growing vegetables to domesticated ones, but that we as humans have again changed our diet significantly, as we have done with the control of fire, which resulted in us eating more meat. This time it was a switch from animal protein to a mainly vegetarian diet based on grains and starchy root plants. Out of these, wheat and rice have the additional property of being light, small grains, since this gave the plant the additional advantage of having its seeds widely distributed by the wind. As these grains contain less than 15% water, they are also durable. For this reason they could be stored without risking them rotting away. At the same time, with about 80% carbohydrates, mainly starch, they contain a lot of energy. A lightweight, dry, high energy source that could be easily handled and transported. In other words, a tradable item. Wheat especially developed into a substantial trading commodity almost since the dawn of civilization. That in itself had a profound effect on how and where humanity lived. But what this means I have to tell you in a later video when we have a look at how wheat shaped the world of antiquity and beyond. Thank you for watching this episode of Edo Ego Sum, I am what I eat. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, this would help other people find it on YouTube. If you want to receive more videos like this one, also about the present or future of our relationship with food, consider subscribing to the channel. Now it's your time. What do you think? Have you been thankful for these revolutions of our forebears when doing your daily shopping? Please leave your remarks and questions in the comments. Bye for now. Hopefully to the next video when the subject is the world of wheat.